Oh, I just made this video and then I messed up saving it, so I gotta do it again. Alright, so here's the deal. We left off the last video and I asked you to graph three things on the back: your marginal cost, your marginal revenue, and your average total cost. We're going to look at that in just a second. But before we do that, I'd like you to look at one other column we haven't talked about too much, that you calculated but we didn't talk about. This is a change in profit. Look at what happens to your profit. It starts, the change in profit rather, it starts off at 6 and then it decreases the whole way down to -2. Well, notice the profit is growing the whole time these numbers are positive, but then they turn negative and the profits start to shrink. If you look here, where the profit has stopped growing at 0, it's just kind of another thing to kind of confirm for you this profit maximizing rule that we have, MR equals MC. We see our profit is biggest here. We see our MR and our MC are equal to each other, and we also see that the profit no longer is growing after the 7th unit or at the 7th unit. So it's not that the 8th and 9th avocado are not profitable. It's just that they're not as profitable as we could be. And our goal is to produce the maximum amount of profit. So that's just another way to kind of look at this. So what I would like you to do here, at this point, it should be pretty clear to you, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. I think you should be able to answer those pretty easily. So just take a look at them. Think about them for a second. If you have any questions, you're going to ask me. Don't worry about number 3. We're not really going to, just kind of the ordering is not going to, you're not ready for number 3 yet. So don't freak out about it. So do that, and I'm going to get my screen set up here so that we can look at the graph on the back of your paper. Okay, so go ahead, do that. All right, when you are done, pause the video if you're not done with your questions, and then look at the graph here. So this graph here represents all the information that's in this chart over here. And so I'm going to show you some things here to help you identify elements from your chart on your graph. Because the truth is, on the test, they're not going to make you fill in this chart here. But you are going to have to look at this graph and understand the things that you are looking at. So let's start at 7, because 7 is that profit maximizing point. So let's do that. But before, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I want you to notice something. Marginal revenue is a horizontal line. Sometimes this freaks kids out. But look, it's the same for every quantity. So the quantities are all down here. The marginal revenue is always $8. Notice, again, marginal revenue is also your price. And if I wanted you to do average revenue, so take total revenue and put it over quantity, just like you do when we do average total cost over quantity, 8 over 1, 16 over 2, 24 over 3, always 8 as well. So this is the demand that this firm faces. People can demand basically as many avocados as they want, and that'll be $8 all the time. So you get a flat curve here. Marginal cost slopes upward, and average total cost is like a bowl. We've talked about this before. Average total cost and marginal cost always intersect at average total cost, lowest point. Okay? Now, we've got 7 as the profit maximizing point here, as the profit maximizing quantity. Look right here. So go to 7, quantity is 7, and go up. Notice what happens. MR and MC intersect. That is a good sign, because MR and MC are supposed to intersect where your profit maximization is occurring. All right. Now, we're going to identify 3 things at this quantity of 7. 3 things that you have already calculated, 3 things that you already know, but you're going to find them on this graph. So the first thing we're going to calculate is the total revenue, which we did already, which is 56, 7 times 8. Total cost, we did 4 plus 35 and got 39. And profits, we subtracted these 2 things and got 17. We have already done this. So this is shouldn't freak you out too much, but it's going to freak you out a little bit. So how do we get total revenue? We did 7 times 8. Okay, so let's see here. I've got this quantity right here of 7, and I've got 8 is my marginal revenue. So I'm right here at this point. So I'm going to put a big box around this. And I'm going to do it in a color other than black. let's do it in red. Okay. So this box right here is going to be your total revenue. There it is. Total revenue. Okay. Everybody with me? That's 56. If you multiply out 7 times 8, 56, that is the area of this box. I'm going to change my color here to pink. And what we're going to do next, we're going to look for total cost. Now the problem is, we found total cost by adding 4 to 35 and getting 39. But this graph over here does not have fixed cost or variable cost on it. But it does have average total cost, which is equal to total cost over quantity. Now, we're looking for the total cost, but we don't know total cost. However, we do know the quantity. Right now, the quantity we're producing is 7, and the ATC, we know that it's 7. If you look over on the chart, it's about 5.6. Let's take a look and see if that matches up with our graph. So I'm at 7. I'm on my ATC curve. Let's see if it's 5.6. Like that? That looks like it's 5.6-ish. All right? So that's 5.6. Do me a favor. If you do 5.6 times 7, do it right now on your calculator. I'm actually doing it on my calculator. So take a second. 5.6 times 7. You should get something close to 39. You should get 39. I got 39.2, which we'll call a rounding error that is not 39 on the money. So this box right here is your total cost. Now, realize that I'm using my mouse here and I'm not making perfect boxes, so it's the best I can do, for you folks. Now the question is, now I know total revenue on my box, or on my graph, and I know my total cost. The question is, can I find my profits now? My profits should be 17. So let's see here. I'm going to take, let's take this orangey color now, or some sort of off brown. Can you find the area of profit? Do you think you know? I'll give you a second. Okay. All right. I'm going to go here now. So if I take this big box in red and I subtract the pink one, I'm left with just this little space right here. And this is going to be my profit. Oh, bear with me. There we go. So this box up top here is my profit box. I'm going to rate this. This is 5.6 here. This is my average total cost, right? I'm just going to rate that right there. Okay. Now, how do we, can anybody tell me how we can check and make sure that this area here is 17? How would you do that? Could you figure out the area of this rectangle? Well, you know it's 7 long, so it's got to be times 7 here. Times 7, okay? Which is my quantity. I apologize for my ugliness here. Now, but to find the height here, how would I do that? Well, I know that the top of this is at 8. What's 8? 8 is my MR, which is my price. So if I go price P, I wish I had done this different now. So now it's 8. My numbers are not going to match up with my letters on the other side, whatever. And I need to know the height of this box here. Well, I know that my ATC, the bottom of it, is 5.6. So if I go 8 minus 5.6, so if I go price minus ATC, I'll put parentheses around this because you got to do that first. Do 8 minus 5.6 for me, and then multiply by 7. See what you get. Hopefully it comes out something pretty close to 17. I'm doing it right now, so use your calculator. I came out with 16.8. So pretty darn close to 17. So this is how you use the graph to figure out your profit. What I would like you to do, I want you to do the same thing here, but this time instead of being at a quantity of 7, we're going to go over here, we're going to use a quantity of 5, okay? So you're going to use a quantity of 5. You already know the total revenue is going to be 40, the total cost is going to be 24, and the profits are going to be 16. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to open up another video, and I'm going to walk you through how to do it. But I want you to do it right now while I do the video. Go look at your paper and see if you can figure all this stuff out, the total revenue area, the total cost area, and the profit area, when the quantity is 5 instead of 7. All right, go.